E aí, galera, tudo em paz com vocês? Sejam todos muito bem-vindos. Cello Emerson aqui, começamos mais um vídeo para o canal Metal Musicast. Hoje, uma entrevista muito especial mesmo. Vocês já estão vendo na tela. Além do meu amigo Flávio Lino, que está me entendendo, porque é o vocalista da banda britânica Air Force, mas é português. Já deu uma entrevista aqui para o Metal Musicast. Fala, Flávio Lino, tudo em paz com você?
Tudo bem, Tchau? Prazer estar aqui de novo. Agora acompanhado, hoje acompanhado.
Muito bem acompanhado. A vocês que
Muito bem acompanhado.
Muito bem acompanhado. Agora, vocês que nos assistem, obrigado, viu, Lino? Obrigado pelo contato, pela oportunidade da entrevista mais uma vez. E nós estamos aqui hoje com o baterista da banda Air Force, Doug Sampson. Para quem não está ligando o nome à pessoa, nada menos do que o ex-baterista do Iron Maiden, que está imortalizado na gravação da The Soundhouse Tapes. Estou falando aí com Doug Sampson, uma grande honra. A vocês que nos assistem, eu vou começar a falar inglês, para não ser uma grosseria aqui com o Doug. E depois eu garanto a vocês, esta entrevista aqui eu vou colocar na íntegra inicialmente, sem legendas, mas vou recortá-la e fazer vários vídeos com legendas nos próximos dias. Então fica bacana para vocês assistirem a partir de agora. Quem já consegue entender o inglês vai curtir, mas quem ainda não consegue, fiquem tranquilos, eu vou cortar a entrevista e vou traduzir e vou colocar nas legendas para vocês entenderem, porque é um dia especial aqui para o Metal Musicast. Temos um integrante da família Iron Maiden. Vou começar a falar inglês. Hi, Mr. Sampson.
Hi.
Be welcome. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing well, thanks. Yeah, really good.
So, yeah. I was introducing you to the Metal Musicast audience. Doug Sampson, former drummer of Iron Maiden, a member of the Iron Maiden family, and current drummer of the Air Force band. And before we get into the news about the Air Force, the tours, the next album, stuff like that, let's talk a little bit about the history of the band. Okay, Doug? Okay, Lino?
Yeah.
So please tell us, Doug, tell us, please, the history of the band after you parted away from Iron Maiden. How long you started the band Air Force?
I suppose I finished the band with Iron Maiden, and I think it was about maybe 3 or 4 years before I got involved with Air Force. We started off. I joined Chop, and he's in a band called EL34. We were just mucking about, doing a few sessions and things, and we had a demo tape, and we took it round to Steve's, and he had to listen to it, and he said, "Yeah, you got something good there." He says, "Yeah, you want to get a singer in, get a good singer in, and take it from there." So that's what we got my brother in, and done some recordings, and put them around a bit, and it was started to get a lot of interest. You know, the band started to take off. But after a while, it kind of the clubs and the circuits, it just wasn't happening for us over in England. You know, it wasn't really going anywhere. So we called it a day for a while. Some years later, we all went off and done our own projects and, you know, family stuff and that. And some years later, we came across a chap got involved, a bloke called Lucas, who said that he wanted to put an album together of all ex-Iron Maiden members. And so we put forward a few tracks from our previous days, and it came out as Origins of Iron. And that really started to get people interested again. It kind of went down really well. So we decided to give the band another go. So we got Tony Hutton and me and Chop, and that's when we started Air Force again. We had some different singers, and then we met Lino, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's cutting a long story very short, to be honest. Cutting it right down. Yeah,
I got it. And Lino, at that time, at the early days of the very first days of Air Force, you weren't born, I think. Yeah.
Well, I think I was 2 years old because they started in '86. I think I was born in '84. So as soon as I'm out of the womb, I said I'm an Air Force fan. No, 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 but yeah. So it's weird thinking about the years, right? It's like I'm in a band that started in '86. It's weird to think about it, but it is what it is. Yeah.
And Doug, how can you describe the Air Force songs at the very first days?
in the early days, they were a little bit more commercial than they are now. We're just trying different things out. That was our first 3 recordings were a little bit more commercial, and then the things just gradually got heavier and heavier, you know, until basically the sort of stuff we're doing now, sort of new wave of British heavy metal. So yeah, we've mainly stuck to the same chemistry all the years through, you know.
I
Yeah.
got it. And Lino, how challenger was to you to be part of the Air Force? Any cultural differences or something like that?
No, I don't think so. Because I speak good English. For a Portuguese guy, I can speak good English. So there was no, it's not difficult for me to understand the jokes and the way of they talk to each other. So it was not that difficult. And they have the same mind as I do. The same, we have the same humor. So it's easy. It's so easy to get in this band. Yeah.
Okay. And uh, Lino, have you ever heard something about Air Force before? How long before did you know the songs from Air Force?
Well, I didn't know about Air Force until Chop contacted me if I wanted to join Air Force. And then he said, well, I play in a band. It's called Air Force. We have Doug Sampson and Tony Hatton. And I said, well, yeah, send me the songs. And then I said, yeah, I like this kind of heavy metal. It's a new wave of British heavy metal. It's my kind of stuff. I'm a power metal, heavy metal guy. And I was like, yeah, I like this. And then I had to rehearse. I had to rehearse like, I don't know, 15 songs, I think, to play with them live in 2 weeks. I was like, I have to know this 15 songs in 2 weeks to do the
Wow.
Poland show. It was not easy, but I think I've managed.
And of course, you did a great job because I got the CDs Strike Hard here. I got
Yeah.
three
Yeah,
CDs,
three. Sorry.
three because I will give as a prize to
Okay.
the our audience in a kind of a draw. I will, and
No.
Doug and Lino will help me to create something to give these CDs to our audience. I don't know if it's a prize draw or something like that. Okay, until the end of this
Good idea.
interview, I got 3 of it. The strike Hard, and I got my one. This one is mine. Yeah, this the
Okay.
mine.
Oh,
And
brilliant.
3 CDs because I wanna support Air Force in Brazil.
Oh,
And
thanks.
you did a great job, Lino. Great, great. You are a great singer, of course.
Oh,
And
thanks.
and
Thanks.
Doug, since you parted away from Iron Maiden, how long did you show your new songs, the Air Force songs, to Steve Harris? You are a great friend of Steve Harris.
Yeah, yeah. When we first done when we done a demo of 3 tracks, that was with my brother singing, Sam. We took it more or less straight away round to Steve's, and so he could have a listen. Yeah, that was more or less straight away, really. He said, "You've definitely got something there," you know. He said, going to have to get set together and just get out and get some work and see what comes up for it. But as I say, we did do some work, but the climate just had changed so much, and there wasn't that many places to play, and one thing and another, we decided to call it a day at that point. It was after a good couple of years, but it wasn't the people that just seemed to be as interested as I was before. And then when we got back together again, it just completely changed. There was so much more enthusiasm. I don't know. It was just something really clicked after the first couple of gigs. We knew we had something special, and so that's where we are now.
Great. And Lino, can I say that Steve Harris was something like your godfather to the Air Force, something like that, or not? Tell us this history, please.
Well, I don't think so, because let's see. Chop invited me to the band, and that's my understanding. I think, and Chop told me this, that Steve, when he wanted to get Chop and Doug and Air Force on tour, but he thought at the time, before I joined the band, that the band was not that big to open for British Lion. That's my understanding. And then when he saw us, he saw videos of us in Poland and even in England, some shows. He said to himself, well, now the band is good or better, and I'm going to ask them to join us with British Lion. And we did 4 tours with them in a row. So I think it was, Doug, back me up, I think it was the first time that British Lion did that.
That's
same
right,
band,
yeah.
4 tours, yeah.
4 tours, yeah. I don't have anybody else doing that.
Because Chop said to me that Steve just wanted to do a tour with the band, and then next year another band. He doesn't want to repeat the bands, the same band over and over again. But he kept asking us. He said after the first tour, he said, "Guys, I think, well, this is maybe the last time, but maybe in the future, and then in the next year, do you want to join us?" I said, yeah. And then in the third year, do you guys want to join us? Yeah. And then in the fourth year, it was a never-ending story. Yeah. It's good. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, but that, I'm going to tell you a little bit, a small secret. One time, I think it was in KK Steel Mill.
The venue.
The venue. Yeah, we were playing, and I was warming up. I need like an hour before the show to just warm up. I like my warm-up time. And then Chop came in the dressing room. "Lino, shut up. You're singing too loud," because Steve was saying this guy just sounds like Geoff Tate and Michael Kiske put together. And I was like, well, I think I sound like Bruce Dickinson, but I don't know. I think Steve didn't want to say he sounds like Bruce Dickinson. So it's a little bit Geoff Tate and Michael Kiske. Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
Curious. It's great.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Yeah.
Quite interesting, because your voice sounds something like Bruce Dickinson too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that I grew up listening to Freddie Mercury and Bruce Dickinson, but I can't sing Freddie Mercury. Well, no one can. It's easier to do Bruce Dickinson, and well, it's just my natural voice. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
You did a great job. And
Thanks.
Doug, we are talking about the early Iron Maiden days, and I have a special interest in the very first days of Iron Maiden, especially between 75 and 79. Not by nostalgia, because I wasn't a metalhead at that time, but I think that you and the guys, especially Steve Harris, got into a discipline and a way to decide the ways to put Iron Maiden. And at that time, did you realize that Steve Harris could know the business stuff. You know what I mean? Not only the musical stuff, because it's a genius for me, in my opinion, but the business stuff, the the money for the tours, the the deal with EMI, this kind of stuff.
Um, no, I mean, Steve always had a big idea of how it should end up. Iron Maiden. He had quite big ideas, even when there was only three of us, me, Dave, and Steve, in a studio, down in East London. He always had really big ideas for the band. And I mean, we were doing gigs with Paul Di'Anno and that, and then Rod Small came down to see us, and on the way down to the gig, Paul got arrested by the police for having a knife and got carted off. So this is the first time, I think, if I'm right, that it was the first time that Rod came down to see us. So we've got down there, and we're speaking to us. Well, look, we haven't got the singer. He's been carted off. So I said to Steve, well, can you sing? He says, yeah, I can, but not very good. He said, well, you'll have to do it then. So we done the gig. We done like 3 songs with Steve singing, and we didn't think we'd see Rod again after this. Anyway, Paul came in to the venue. He'd been let out by the police, and he jumped on the stage, and we done the gig, and that was it. I think Rod actually saw something in that show that made him think, well, there's something special here. And he then started working with the band. He didn't actually commit to being the manager, but he was working with the band. And I think here between him and Steve, it was Rod who had the brains behind the finances and all that sort of thing. But Steve was working close with him, and he's like picked up on it all, sort of thing, So it was a combination between Steve and Rod that gave him all the business angles to it all, But they were good days, actually. They really were really good days. Yeah.
Yeah, some people used to think that Steve Harris had a crystal ball but the journey was tough. Yeah.
It wasn't like a fairy tale. No, it was had some rough times, but just persevere through it, and that's what you get. You get rewarded in the end, Yeah.
Great. And about the drum lines from the first album and the second and third, of course, by Clive Burr. Have you ever played those songs, especially from the first album, the Iron Maiden? Have you ever played those songs in the Air Force or before in the Iron Maiden? What do you think about the drum lines from Clive Burr, by Clive Burr?
Oh, he was a phenomenal drummer, Clive. Yeah, he had such a feel for the songs. He had great tempo. He really was a great drummer. I was in a project. It never came to fruition because of the COVID. But I was in a band with Paul Di'Anno and all the original members of Iron Maiden, and Ides of March it was called. We never actually got to rehearse because it was a shutdown. But I was working on the songs from Clive's era. I was working on the songs, and they were really, really good, really good. Yeah.
Great. And you were together with Steve Harris in a band called Smiler.
Smiler, yeah.
What do you remember of that time? And have you ever heard something that will be part of Iron Maiden in terms of writing songs and musical stuff? At that time, at the Smiler, did you realize something that sounds like would be Iron Maiden in future?
Well, I went down for an audition with Smiler, and I got the job. Steve was the bass player, but you've got to remember, Smiler was not Iron Maiden. It was more of a bluesy rock band. We were playing a lot of covers, and it was more of a bluesy thing. Mick and Tony Cleese were the guitarists, and it was a good band. It was a good rock band, but a lot of people say about it, and I said, well, it was not Iron Maiden. The guitarists were totally different. They were like bluesy rock guitarists, so you couldn't really do Iron Maiden stuff in that band. I mean, I think we did do it was called in them days Innocent in Exile, which was Innocent Exile. I think we've done a very early version of that, but that is the only one that I can remember doing of an Iron Maiden song with Smiler. But as I say, it was a good band, but it wasn't Iron Maiden.
I got it. And only one more question about Iron Maiden. I asked it to Gary Peppard. Gary Peppard is a guitarist from the band Jaguar from Bristol, and I made an interview with Gary Peppard here, and I asked him about the early Iron Maiden days, because he was on a show, on an Iron Maiden concert in '79. I think you were the drummer, and Gary Peppard said that Iron Maiden was a four-piece band. I think you, Steve Harris, Davey, and I don't remember, but I think that was Paul Diano. And Gary Peppard told me this following sentence: "They kicked a lot band's ass." Do you?
Sorry, I missed that bit.
Can you remember? Can you hear me? Because the internet connection.
Yeah, it just broke down. Yeah, it just broke there. Yeah.
So the following sentence: "They kicked a lot band's asses." To be fair, what do you remember about that time? Have you ever heard about the band Jaguar from Bristol?
I haven't actually. No. That sounds good.
Metal. So he was in a concert in '79, and he told me, "What do you think about that? And what do you remember at that time? Alive, the concerts."
Yeah. Because there was only four of us, you really had to work harder, because you only had the one guitarist. But it was we were quite powerful. It was very like aggressive, plenty of energy, because we was all young, so it was quite fast. Yeah, I can remember them gigs of that era. Yeah, really good. Yeah,
I remember.
You remember getting the blood from the mask on your head.
yeah, they had
a small.
Yeah, they had a head over the drum set that was when we played the track Iron Maiden. The lights would flash on it, and it would spew out blood. And because I was underneath it, I used to get soaked virtually every night with this. What it was vegetable dye, but it came out of his mouth, and it used to come on. I've still got the old drum kit I've got. It's still covered in this stuff, even to this day. I've never cleaned it off.
What was it? Eddie at the time? Was the name Eddie?
I don't think it was given a name in them days. It was like just a mask that had the blood coming out of it. But I think the next one we had was like an Eddie, and that's when they brought the album out. They referred to him as Eddie because he was just a head from the early days. Yeah.
Great. And I remember just another question about that days, and how was to be against the punk fashion?
Well, I mean, that was going on all the time. I mean, it was getting more and more. All the clubs were doing punk and that, but we just stuck by our guns, you know. Me and Steve and Paul and David, we just wouldn't succumb to it. You know, we were doing. I mean, Paul says he was a punk, but I mean, in that time, his loyalties were with Iron Maiden. You know, so we were just kicking it and doing all the gigs. And I mean, there was occasions where you couldn't get work because there were punk outfits. You know, there were punk venues, and you couldn't work there. But no, there was still a good amount of rock places, as the Cart and Horses was one of them, and Rusky and Bridgehouse. There's still a lot of places that you could play, but it was mainly uptown. You had specialised punk venues that you just wouldn't want to go there anyway, you know.
Great. And let's talk about the Air Force. The news about Air Force. Doug, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And let's talk about the news about the Air Force and about the tour. Lino, Doug, what are the next steps? The tours. We got a new album.
Yeah, we have a new album. I don't think we can say the name of the album.
Yeah, it's been
right now. I don't think. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
No, I don't think we can say it.
Yeah, no, it'd be all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the new album is called Acts of Madness. Each song is an act of madness, and yeah, it's for me. It's a different album. Not for me. The album is different. The band is playing different. We have a new producer that recorded the album. He had a lot of new ideas. So it's the same old new wave of British heavy metal sound, but with a little bit of a twist here and there, a more new approach, but with the old feeling. That's the understanding I have from the album. In terms of vocals, it's almost the same. You cannot do anything different, but the drumming is different. I think I heard that do different stuff, and yeah, I think mainly is the production is different. It's not that raw. It has some more ambience, and yeah, it's different, but the same. You know what I mean, Joe? Different but the same.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
What do you think, then?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It is definitely down that line. I mean, it is different to the first album,
Yeah.
but there's certain slight differences. But it's still loyal to Air Force. It's not that it would not come away from Air Force sound, but it's just got a little bit more going for it, you know.
Yeah.
and what can you say about these newest influences or newest stuff in vocals and in drumming? Is kind of a gent guitars or not so much.
No, no chant guitars. No, it's the same thing. It's chop. The guitars are done by Chop. So Chop is not a progressive metal guitarist or a Iggy Malmsteen. Blah, 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 blah. It's just when you hear the solo or when you hear a guitar part, you say, well, it's Chop. You know, I can hear Chop. And when he sent me a song without vocals, I said, oh, this is so Chop. And it's the Air Force sound. The guitar, I think the guitar, gives us the sound. You know, the Air Force sound is the guitar.
Totally
And then I think, and then I think the drums. I was listening to the album when I do my walks, and I listen to the album and I try to sink in, and I heard Doug doing, just a little bit of different stuff, like some ride here and there that he doesn't use that much, and new good breaks, like different stuff, and I was like, yeah, this is good. It's a step forward, step forward.
Great.
That's what I think.
Doug, are you bringing some new influences to your way to play the drums?
No, I think it's just progression, really. You work in different styles, and the more and more you play, the more you experiment, and you just get different ideas and slot them in. I don't know. It's just a matter of the band maturing. I think really the way that it's coming on for this album. I think we're getting a bit mature at our age, maturing out.
Great, great. And about the tours, I got the 2 British Lion CDs here. I'd like to hear your opinions about the sound of British Lion. What do you think, Lino? What do you think, Doug, about this Steve Harris band? Steve Harris band.
Well, I liked it. I never heard British Lion before doing a tour with them because, well, I was not interested in that because I knew that the singer was not a high vocal singer, and I was like, I don't. At the time, and then when we did the tour, I kind of they grown in me. Me and Doug, we were always up front on the shows, right, Doug? We were always up front and singing because the songs just stick to you like glue. Like it's a good songs. It's Steve Harris. The choruses stick with you, and it's a good band. And they are all, when you talked with them before the show or in the backstage area, they're all good guys, so you want to see them live. And when you see them live, they're good. They're really good band, and I love the songs, all of them.
I really like British Lion. I mean, it's such a contrast from Iron Maiden, and it's letting Steve do something different at a lower level, so he can go and mix with the crowds and sort of do a smaller venues. They're great blokes. So all the members are really friendly people and down to earth. Me and Lino really enjoy doing the tours with them because really have a good laugh. But I really enjoy their set. I really enjoy going to see them. I went down to Carton Horses a couple of weeks ago to see them. Really good.
Great. Me too. I like so much. I'm enjoying the both albums. I prefer the second, The Burning, because I think that's as Lino said about the new album, the brand new album from Air Force. This one is a step forward to The Burning. I think that is good. And this channel is the only channel in Brazil and made a review about this band. It's not so popular in Brazil. It's not like Iron Maiden. It's underground. And talking about
I don't think that Steve wanted it to be as big as, if the band started to be big, I don't think he would like it, because he wanted to break out from the big stadiums. That's what he told us. He wanted to be like for 200, 300 people, just being face to face, getting the adrenaline again, as he did in the early days, right? So that's why he did the band.
Great. Sure. Quite interesting. You said, quite interesting, because that's the way I see the Steve Harris style. And talking about the newest Iron Maiden band, what did you think, Lino, Doug, Senjutsu?
I liked it more than the previous one, the Book of Souls, right? I liked that album better, Senjutsu. And we had to see, we played with British Lion and we saw like 8 Iron Maiden shows, because we had VIP passes for all the Iron Maiden shows. So we get to see them live like 8 times on an European tour. And the songs from Senjutsu really shine, I think, in that tour. The first 3 songs. I think they played 3 songs or 4 songs. I kind of like the album. Yeah, I think they played 3, right? Three or 4.
I think
But
title track.
I think the album is better than Book of Souls for me. It's more melodic, and I think I like.
Got some good songs. Yeah.
Doug, did you hear the newest Iron Maiden album? I'd like to hear your opinion about it.
The Sujitsu.
Yeah.
But much the same as what Lino's just said. I think I found it better than the previous one, the Book of Souls. I like the. There's two albums on the. It's a double album. I like the songs on the second part of the album. I've got it on virtually all the time, even now. I just love them songs on there.
Yeah.
So, are there plans to be in Brazil with Air Force, Lino, Doug?
Well, you just missed. We had a tour on Brazil in February. No. We're in June. I think last month. We were supposed to do a tour with Paul Diano in Brazil for 15 dates. 15 dates. It was São Paulo, Curitiba. I can't remember all the cities, but it didn't go through because Paul wasn't. His health was deteriorating again, so it was postponed. But we were on the verge to announce it. It was like a week of announcing it. So yeah, we're not going to Brazil, but we was supposed to go. So, and we were excited about it. Yeah, it didn't fall through. Yeah.
Okay. And okay, let's come to the end. I am very, very thrilled talking to you, Lino, and to you, Doug. It's a great pleasure, a great honor to me. And send a message to the Brazilian fans, Brazilian Air Force fans, and help me to create something to make a draw to prize the people, to audience, to Metal Musicast audience 2, 3, the best question or the opinion about the Air Force songs. Help me, Lino. Help me, Doug. And
What do you think? What do you?
I don't know. Do you want to make like a draw, like someone comments something and you will win?
Yes.
Okay, so I think you should do it like, let people say what their favorite song is, or some trivia about Air Force or something like that. It's difficult, but how many CDs are you going to give? 3?
Three. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
News 3. This one.
Yeah.
Strike
Yeah.
hard.
Ok, vou falar. Atenção, se for em português, pessoal, é assim. Strike Hard é um álbum que nós gravámos em 2020. Acho, eu e as datas não. É um bom álbum de heavy metal e o Chell vai oferecer 3 álbuns a quem. Aliás, o primeiro a comentar nesta live, o primeiro a comentar vai logo receber o álbum. Isso é logo, o primeiro. E depois, os outros 2 é quem disser qual foi o primeiro. Aliás, espera aí, vamos fazer assim. O primeiro CD vai para o primeiro comentário. O segundo CD vai para o primeiro a dizer qual foi o primeiro concerto que eu fiz com a Air Force. O primeiro concerto que eu dei. Em que país é que eu dei? E o terceiro vai para quem adivinhar qual é a idade do Doug Sampson.
Tell him in English.
Doug, I said the first album goes to the first person that comments on the live streaming. When he posted live, the first person who comments gets a CD. The second person gets a CD if the person says, "What's the first show I did with Air Force? In which country I did?" And the third is going to be, "How old is Doug Sampson?"
Great.
Well, yeah.
So please, Doug and Lino, send a message to the Brazilian fans, okay?
You first, Doug.
Well, obviously it was sad that we never got to meet you, but I hope you enjoy the album. We will get there to see you, and we'll be very grateful for your support. And yeah, God bless you all, really. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm going to speak in Portuguese, which is bad. Né? Pronto, obrigado a toda a gente que tem apoiado Air Force no Brasil, porque eu sei que muitos álbuns foram vendidos no Brasil por Air Force. E claro, nós gostávamos de ir ao Brasil, mas não foi possível, mas havemos de ir. E imagina que é uma banda inglesa no Brasil e eu poder falar português com toda a gente, fica muito mais fácil. E possivelmente vai acontecer, e se formos lá vai ser com British Lion. Já está assim meio no ar. Não, Tchel, isto não é uma certeza, mas é falar. Poderemos ir um dia, foi conversado, é possível que aconteça. E claro, apoiem o canal do Tchel porque ele apoia o heavy metal nacional, que é muito bom no Brasil, e o heavy metal estrangeiro, neste caso inglês e português, o que for. Mas o Tchel tem um dos melhores canais do Brasil, por isso apoiem-no e apoiem Air Force. E obrigado pela entrevista, Tchel, és o maior.
Eu que te agradeço demais, Lino. Obrigado pela amizade, pelo apoio, pela conversa. Às vezes a gente troca ideia em off. Muito obrigado pela disponibilidade, por ter conseguido trazer o Doug Sampson aqui para trocar ideia. Obrigadão mesmo. Forte abraço aqui do Brasil. Doug, once again, thanks a lot for your time. And I'm glad talking to you. I'm really thrilled talking to you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
As soon
See you, Doug.
See you.
Ciao.
See ya.